Well, hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Joshua, nothing
Happy.
really eventful has gone on in the past couple days, has it?
It's been pretty slow news day, definitely.
Definitely a slow news day if Newsweek is writing about my tweets. Can you imagine a slow news day than that?
Well, I love how he's like, oh yeah, I tried to contact her 4 minutes
For
before.
4 minutes.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
I'm glad you called him out on that. He
I
has some
was still
explaining to do.
asleep when he tried to contact me 4 minutes before publishing that article.
He's something else. Yeah.
But so I've been getting canceled. And you and I, like, how do you think this cancellation has gone compared to other cancellations that we've worked through together, Joshua?
Well, it's such a, it's really interesting. It's sort of like, a lot of times people, people might say to defend a tweet, oh, it's taken out of context. But the thing is that this whole thing that you wound up saying, there's a very much broader, bigger story that is about what you had spoken about, that people are not in on that story. Do you know what I mean? So I think that with this one, it raises a lot of big issues in the sense that, it's very important. You create your own reality. That is a given in law of attraction. And Abraham Hicks, who many, many people follow, and the precursor to Abraham Hicks, Jane Roberts, she who was a channeler, who told us all about how we create our own reality, and how before we even get here, we choose our parents, we choose our socioeconomic background, we choose what happens. And Jane Roberts's work is in the Yale library. It's in the archives at Yale. This is not, something that you just pulled out of your ass.
No.
This is something that is really, really true. Of course, the issue is that it's very, very sensitive material. Like, my friend's father gets murdered. I can't really say to him, well, your dad chose this. He chose it. Like,
well,
I probably would.
right, but I'm also
that.
not walking into it. And people actually did they say, Carlin, you can't walk into a funeral and tell a grieving parent that their child chose their death. Well, granted, but I didn't walk into a funeral and tell a grieving parent a child chose their death. I said something on Twitter. These are two completely different things.
Right. But I think that because of the sensitivity around it, just like if, somebody is going through a breakup or something that's really tumultuous, that's not the best time to tell them you create your own reality. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think with you, in terms of what you're going through with this whole thing, there's a bigger contextual thing that, really, if people agree that you create your own reality, you can't caveat it with like, oh, except for this. I mean, you create your own reality or you don't.
Well,
one or the other.
And that was actually one of the things that was interesting to me about some of the feedback I got is they kept saying, Carlin, it sounds like you have an a la carte belief system. I'm like, no. Like, this is like the very opposite of an a la carte belief system. It's like you have to be consistent about how you're applying this. Just because something is unpleasant to think about doesn't mean you can't you choose not to apply it to that situation. Right? It's not pleasant to think about the fact that someone might choose in spirit form. I have to be very specific now, otherwise people will take me out of context. In spirit form, choose to go through an event like the Holocaust. And I understand, like, but like, you can't say, I believe that everyone chooses everything in their life except for the most bad event that has ever been bad in the history of humanity. That was an accident. Everyone just tripped. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Right. You can't, I mean, the same thing really with COVID. I think people who are dying in COVID, there was this mass sort of decision, so to speak, for those people that wanted to be involved in something at this stage of the world for whatever reason. And it doesn't make sense, but, these spiritual principles that are very well founded and very well respected, I do think that oftentimes, you don't hear Abraham Hicks or Esther Hicks ever speaking about that. Sometimes, she will say, if like a child is born with cerebral palsy or with a missing limb, what, they chose that? And yeah, that is true, that for whatever reason, they chose that to teach unconditional love. The same thing with gay people, for instance. Not saying that gay people is similar to like born with a missing limb, but we choose our own our own lessons for whatever reason our spirit needs to, or our soul needs to go through a certain evolution. And I think that with this particular issue, it is such sensitive material that you have the balls to bring it up. But I mean, I've been studying this stuff for decades, and very rarely do people actually go there. So you
Oh,
did.
I've seen people go there.
You
I've
have
seen
seen people go there.
I've absolutely seen people go there, 100%. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I actually read a lot about this. Especially there's well, we talked about this. There's an interview on YouTube called the Afterlife interview with Hitler. They went there. I've seen this discussion in like a lot of spiritual groups, to be honest. Discussion in private forums that usually only cater to people who have weird beliefs like you and I, that's different than doing it on Twitter. And I can understand that. But at the same time, like, I really don't regret this. I absolutely do not. I was asked a question and I answered it. And if you don't want a question to be answered, then don't ask it at the end of the day. And I don't think that necessarily I don't feel the need to like hold back on topics just because it's going to offend people. Like, this is what happens when you create a reality in which you are calling everyone a racist for everything. It just it like, people are looking to be offended. So if they're looking to be offended, I mean, fine. Like, I have no problem tackling the topics, but I want to address a few questions because people in the chat are asking, so did you choose to be canceled then? Yes.
Right.
Yes. I was
Right.
arguing with Christian conservatives for 3 days before this. I was trolling them in the most overt way I could put. Did I choose this? Yes, of course I did. Now, did I know that it was going to manifest in exactly this way when I started it? No. But I chose every single thing I did, and I'm not going to deflect responsibility and say I didn't choose this. Of course I did.
Right, right. And I think that that's a bigger what's really good about this, people who do listen to you, they actually have a pause and sort of like, okay, well, I'm in this aspect of my life right now. I would never, like, why would I want this? But hey, well, if I chose it, there must be a reason for it. And then they can leverage it to their greatest advantage. So I think that what you're doing in terms of this topic that is so controversial, you're bringing up a bigger topic that's even more important today, and more important in terms of how we all create our own reality. We created COVID. Why would we create COVID collectively?
Mhm.
Why would we do that? Well, I think we needed more space. I think we needed more time alone. I think we needed to create a certain level of distance. I think maybe we were too exposed. I mean, there's lots of reasons.
Mhm.
And especially New York City. New York City is being hit the most with these restrictions. Why did they collectively? I know De Blasio did X, Y, B, and Z, but again, like, why are New Yorkers facing that reality more than other places? And that
Mhm.
might be because New York City, it's like honeycombs, right? You're on top of each other in New York City. Like, that's one of the reasons why they call it the city that never sleeps, is because everybody's so close to each other. You feed off of their energy and you don't need as much sleep. So there's reason for everything.
Mhm.
But I think this cancellation for you, I think that it sort of puts the responsibility, or the onus is on you to sort of really elaborate, not with this particular topic, but globally, like universally, how we all do that. And that could really be great for the world, for America especially.
Well, and I mean, I've been thinking about this a lot today, and it's like it's almost the way this unfolded. It seems very symmetrical with what happened with the Trump rally article, because like, listen, like, I wasn't ready. Like, I was when I wrote the Trump rally article, I had been focusing on this stuff for months before that, right? And like, starting to speak out and stuff like that, and I was kind of obsessed with the topic, and that's part of how I wound up at the Trump rally in the first place.
Mhm.
And then the article comes out, it goes viral, it launches me into all of this almost against my will, because like, I kept pursuing this because I felt like it was supposed to happen. It was the path I was supposed to go down, right? And it's worked out, and I do believe that that was the correct decision. But we had actually already been talking about, or at least I had been thinking about, I don't really even know if I've talked about it that much with you, but about doing more, like, well, no, we had talked about it, like, more like
Mhm.
mindfulness content and
Right.
stuff around mindset and stuff in 2022, frankly, because I'm really burnt out, and I also think it's something valuable that a lot of people could benefit from. And I wrote a whole freaking book about mindfulness. Like, I know my stuff on this. So I'd already
Right.
been thinking about doing more of this content. And in order to do that, I was going to have to out myself with these beliefs at some point. And now it's kind of like I have been outed. Like it's the same. It was the same thing with the Trump. Like I was outed as being someone that was leaving the Democratic Party. Like I was publicly outed in a way that I could not go back. And I kind of feel like this is very similar to that in that it's like I've been publicly outed as believing these things. Ain't no going back now. So all we can do is like move forward. And I do believe it's kind of a sign that what I thought the direction I wanted to go in was actually the correct direction.
Absolutely. And I think a big thing about what's going on right now is that we're we're afraid to speak up. And because we're afraid of getting canceled, everything that I say could be misconstrued or be labeled as racist or misogynistic or what have you. And I think that it's very dangerous when we are not able to say what it is that we think. Like, what is it Voltaire said? I might not agree with what you say, but I'll defend
the right to say it.
Exactly. And I think that we need to start speaking up about things, whether people like it or not. And if it's, if it's taboo, it's taboo. But I don't think there's anything that we should or should not say. I think that if you have something in your head, say it. Some people might say things that are absolutely ludicrous, or they might think that it's absolutely ludicrous. Other people might think that, you know what? We have mouths, we have voices, we have hearts, we have minds. We've got to put what we think out there, or we are doomed.
Yeah, absolutely. And one last thing before we get into the show. And guys, I do see a bunch of super chats coming in already. We've got some great questions. I have a special question from Victor tonight, Joshua, that I'm very excited about.
Ooh.
But like, I wanted to tell you, so I just had a locals call in my locals community. We do Zoom calls twice a week. And, there's a woman in the community that is very spiritual. She's created tarot decks. She's writing articles on chakras. I think you two would get along famously. But she said to me, she said, Carlin, you are reflecting back like people's victimization. You're bringing out all of the people who want to be. You're talking about how you believe that everyone chooses their experience, which is really the ultimate form of self-empowerment. And in response to that, you're getting all of the people who want to live as victims showing themselves, kicking and screaming, saying, no, 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 I don't want to take responsibility. And I actually thought that was a really interesting way to look at it.
That is, yeah, that really is, because, well, there's, in some respects, it's not even these people's fault, in the sense that so many people, especially nowadays, with the coddling of the American mind, as we spoke about, it's like people are being brainwashed. No, you're a victim, and you're put upon. And if our subconscious is wide open from 0 to 7, and kids these days are, you said, you attribute your spirituality for not being an SJW. And I think that that's really true, honestly. And I think that there's that mob mentality. If I had a child, I wonder, would I just law of least resistance, just go with it and be vaxxing my kid and be like putting, being furious about nobody wearing masks? Would I be part of that? And it's something to think about. But we've been, if somebody's trained to believe that they're a victim, not only are they having to, change that story, but they're having to change their self-construct. And that is scary. And that's what you're doing. You're transforming people. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with Pluto in your first house, which is all about transformation and how you approach people, places, and things from a transformative position.
And this is the last thing I'll say before we get started. What people don't see is all the DMs I've gotten from people saying, Carlin, I see the world the way you do, and I really like that you're speaking up. Or, Carlin, I picked up Conversations with God because you told me to read it, and I really like it so far. And, I'm seeing all the people with, similar spiritual beliefs actually going into the comments and arguing with the people who are getting it and trying to teach them. And I've been like, this is actually kind of great. I don't know. This is great. If I wake people up from this, then that's fine with me. I'll take the hit with cancellation. I don't really care.
I think it's fair to say, though, that one of the things that Jane Roberts, the Seth material, she mentions in her channeled material is that if I kill you, yes, you did choose that reality, but I'm not off the hook. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, you may have chosen that, sure, but that doesn't mean that I'm like, oh, well, she chose it, so I get to do whatever I want.
Right.
So, like, in that instance, the instance in terms of, Hitler, he's not off the hook.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
He suffered greatly. I think not just like in human form, but like all in spiritual form. He suffered greatly from that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really familiar with that whole thing. The what you had mentioned, the conversations with Hitler. Who's doing
No. It's like a series of after. It's actually fascinating. I'm gonna send you the link. I
that?
tweeted
Yeah,
it
please.
out earlier, but it's
Mhm.
an afterlife interview. It's this channel called Channeling Eric that they do afterlife interviews with like dead famous people to get their kind of like perspective on their lives now that they've passed over. And the Hitler one is fascinating. Apparently, like I mean, he's like, well, the interview was done I think a while ago, but like still extremely tormented as a spiritual being from what happened. But he also signed up for it.
Right, right. Yeah, he signed up for it. So yeah, but who knows? Maybe now people will start taking more responsibility for their own reality, or be sort of, they can change the story, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where the free will comes in, right? So
Exactly. Well, let's get into the show,
let's
guys.
do
Welcome
it.
to Nothing Remotely Controversial. This is a show that Joshua and I do every Tuesday night, and usually we don't have as much controversy as we've had this week, but whatever, we'll go with it. We talk about news, politics, culture, really whatever we find interesting, and Joshua, who is a professional psychic, uses his psychic and astrology and tarot card prowess to help us peer beneath the surface
Ooh.
and discover what's really going on in the world. Joshua, we are nearing our 100th episode
Are you
of Nothing.
serious?
We're almost 2 years. Almost 2 years. Yeah, we got to do a count of our episodes. We've been doing this a while. But guys, we do take your super chats. If you have a question that you would like Joshua to psychic, send us in a super chat. You get to decide how much based on how much you value us today. But we do just ask that if you ask Joshua a question, have it be a high level question that's interesting to everyone. Like when will COVID hysteria die down, which is actually a question we're going to answer tonight. Not a low level question like should I move to Cincinnati? All right. I want to start off tonight, Joshua. I gave Victor a special question of the week. We're going to call this Victor's question. I wanted to give Victor an opportunity to have you psychic something specifically for him. And he said, Carlin, I like weird things. No one would like my questions. And I said, Victor, people like science too. And so Victor wanted you to psychic for him. When will Einstein be proven wrong about not being able to travel faster than the speed of light?
Well, this is presupposing that he was wrong. So can we rephrase it so it's not a leading question?
Will Einstein be proven wrong about not being able to travel faster than the speed of light?
Cool. And say it one more time, Carlin.
Will Einstein be proven wrong about not being able to travel faster than the speed of light?
And tell me I should stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Will Einstein be proven wrong? I don't think so.
Oh,
Ace of Pentacles. So, this sort of proof of that is my guess. You got King of Cups, which is Einstein. He was a Pisces. You got King of Wands. So there's somebody else that backs his theory, some fiery guy. Tesla, maybe?
No, I don't know. I don't know anything about science. That's Victor's thing.
Yeah, I would be surprised.
All right. Sorry, Victor. Sorry, Victor. Wah, wah. All right. Nat D wants to know, do celebrities make sacrifices to secret societies? What a fun question.
Ooh, I like that question.
Mm-hmm.
So some celebrities, right?
Yeah, well, I guess
Not
some. I mean, not
all.
all celebrities. Yes. Is there at least one celebrity that has made a sacrifice to a secret society?
Well, obviously there's one, but we're talking like, are there quite a few, right?
Yeah. Is it like a thing?
Is it a thing, right?
Yeah.
Do celebrities make sacrifices to secret societies? And tell me when to stop shuffling, please.
Stop.
Do celebrities make sacrifices to secret societies? I would say so. Queen of Cups is really interesting. A lot of celebrities do fall under Queen of Cups. This is like the Scorpio card. They're very, very emotional. They're
She
very
looks like an
artistic.
actress.
There's quite a few Queen of Cups actresses. I would say out of all the court cards, Queen of Cups is the actress of the courts. Yeah, because there is always this seeking deeper meaning, and this card is actually also attributed to Scorpio. And then, of course, we've got 5 of Swords. So you're not going to hear about it, right? Because not only are Scorpios secretive, but, it's a secret thing. But I think because we have this archetype, which, men and women can fall under, they're always going to be, secretly interested in the occult or witchcraft or anything along those lines. So, yeah, I do think so. And with 5 of Swords, they're very, very good at keeping it under wraps.
All right. Fair enough. John Clark said, you called it. Trump's Truth Social will be working with Rumble. Oh. Well, I guess, in terms of like the local stuff being locals being acquired by Rumble. And of course, Joshua and I both have locals communities. They're in the description below. Please join us both on locals. I mean, maybe that's not so bad. I don't know. I still have mixed feelings. Anyway, tonight I have 2 questions. 1, will there be nuclear war in the next 12 months? It's very important if we know this. We have to prepare. We have to build a bunker or something.
Nuclear war in the next 12 months. Will there be nuclear war in the next 12 months? And I'm going to stop shuffling on will there be nuclear war in the next 12 months.
Stop.
No, absolutely not. Again, Queen of Cups. She's not much of a war person, maybe with herself, So Scorpio is the its original ruler is Mars, and Aries is ruled by Mars, but Aries go after and fight other people, whereas Scorpios go against themselves, right? Not that they can't fight either, but they're usually more into that. So things are going to be saying pretty much stabilized, and the same with the Wealth card, and this is certainly happy. Certainly not a nuclear war. So yeah, rest easy. No nuclear war.
Excellent. And John Clark also wants to know, will the U.S. be struck by an EMP, electromagnetic pulse, in the next 12 months? Is that the thing that disconnects all our electricity? Do I have that right? If we get struck by an electromagnetic pulse, we lose all electricity. Am I right about that? I don't know. I'm looking in the chat. There's a delay.
Being in the next 12 months. Will the U.S. be struck by an EMP? And I'm going to stop shuffling on that, Carlin.
Stop.
Will the U.S. be struck by an EMP over the next 12 months? 9 of Discs. Success. No.
Excellent. I like having electricity.
Me too. Yeah.
I like
if anything,
electronics.
Things are going to get better. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about things. I would really, I mean, obviously, we're looking to find answers to questions, but I think in your personal lives, don't focus on things that you don't want to have happen. Don't give any attention to that, or you create them.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? I mean, something like this, I get it. Like, it's fun, it's interesting, but in your own life, don't worry about things if you can help it.
Yeah. All right, Cold Summer 91 says anti-Semitism has been growing not just on the left-right, but other bizarre places like Black Hebrew Israelites, for example. Will we see a bad group rise? So, Joshua, will we see the rise of like legitimate like anti-Semites and like identitarians or bad people? I don't know how to phrase this.
I know what you mean, though.
Okay. It's an important question.
And I'm going to stop shuffling.
Stop. I should make a custom Joshua emoji for my channel members.
Ooh, that would be cool.
You could be an emoji, Joshua.
Oh, I'd love to be an emoji. That would be amazing. Big feather in my cap. I don't think so. I don't think that that's, an issue. I think there's too much logic that's prevailing, and this is really more about justice and fairness, right?
That's good.
Yeah. So he's like Libra, judgy, fair, right? Justice. So, there might be, some zealots out there, but I don't think it's an issue. And I think with Ace of Wands, I mean, they can try stuff, but I don't think there's going to be like a visible surge in anti-Semitic groups. I just don't think that that's. I think, speaking of the Jews, I think that they have suffered enough that they're not going to have to, go through same nonsense or horrible things that they've gone through previously. So I don't think that that's plausible.
Well, one would hope.
Yeah.
Grandma Nay reminds everyone to mount that like button. Thank you, Grandma Nay, for that. Let's see. Danimal Cracker says, I can't think of a question, but Joshua is really cute in that hoodie, and it's just the icing on the nothing remotely controversial cake for me. Happy to be here with you two. As always, everyone loves Joshua more than they like me. I've accepted it.
I wish.
Sulfred, thank you for becoming a channel member. I appreciate it. Guys, please make sure you subscribe to Joshua's YouTube channel as well. It's in the description. Alexander DeJohn says, I agree. I was canceled in the drag community and I made the choice that led to it. My parents always say I seem to always choose the hardest path. I mean, I think it is. Listen, I think it's important to acknowledge I brought this on myself. I did not have to tweet up a storm at conservative Christians. That was completely my choice. Now, I have no regrets. And I actually do believe, it's one of those things that I believe that I was just in such flow with the whole situation. It's kind of like it was one of those things that I wasn't even thinking about. I was just like I was bored at an event and I was tweeting too much. But I think it happened for a purpose, but I do also think it's important to acknowledge that I'll take responsibility for it. Fine, sure, whatever. If I get to take responsibility for all of the positive things that happen in my life, why wouldn't I take responsibility for the less than positive things?
Absolutely. And I think the more responsibility we all take, the more control, we then have over the reality we're creating. And that's the whole point, is joy, to create as much joy as possible, But I think a lot of times what's happening is we really have to collectively increase our joy threshold or our, as ironic as it might sound, our joy tolerance. Because a lot of people they're not acclimated to joy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And I mean, to be honest, I like fighting.
Yeah.
I have fun.
Yeah.
It gets it out of my system.
It gives you energy, I would think. Yeah.
It does. Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel great. Giorgio says, in the future, will other people like the Antifa teacher be exposed and fired? So the Antifa teacher, Joshua, was in Northern California outside Sacramento. And he apparently had Mao hanging on his wall and was had all sorts of crazy Antifa stuff. And he got fired from it right quick after he was exposed by Project Veritas. So will we see more like that?
Let's see. So more people be fired who are in important positions.
Yeah, like teachers.
And I'm going to stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Queen of Swords, Knight of Cups, success. I think you'll definitely see that, but I think you'll see the other stuff too. With Queen of Swords, she's pretty smart. Knight of Cups on a bad day can be rather emotional about their convictions, but I think overall it'll be pretty balanced. So I don't think you're going to see an upsurge in it. You'll see more though.
Mm-hmm. Good. I think that stuff needs to be exposed. Teachers, I'm sorry, not all teachers. They're wonderful teachers, fine, but some teachers are just out of control.
No, some teachers are horrendous, horrible. They should be, they should let alone be teaching. They should probably be in an insane asylum. Some teachers, absolutely. Yeah.
George Andre Veloso Nunez says a better way to ask would be, when will we be able to travel faster than the speed of light? Joshua, can we ask this? When will we be able to travel faster than the speed of light?
Let's see. And I'm going to stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Let's see. It'll be quite some time. So 4 of Swords, this is really a delay, right? I think that individually, you'd be able to do it when you're like in alpha state or in a meditative trance, perhaps. I think there will be work going toward it over the next, say, 3 months to, try. This isn't a slam dunk. So I think be verified. Why do we want to travel faster than the speed of light? Like, what is the big deal about this? Why is this
time travel?
You can time travel without there being faster than the speed of light.
I know that and you know that, but that involves a very complex conversation with people about how time is not a real thing. And I broached that topic a little bit on my stream today, and I was like, this is too complicated. I have just barely started to wrap my head around the fact that time travel that time is not a real thing. It's a construct. It's a complex concept, Joshua.
True.
Okay. It is.
Fair enough.
Justin White says, for Victor, onion theory, you don't actually have to travel faster than the speed of light to tunnel there on a different layer.
Right, exactly. In fact, this weekend, Venus and Pluto are coming together.
What does that mean?
Saturday, there's going to be like, Pluto is like that, that wormhole, so to speak. So if you're looking to, investigate other parallel realities, Saturday might be your day for it.
How can people do that?
I would just meditate and really it might take some practice. Like you can't like all of a sudden be like, okay, I'm going to, meditate and time travel. But I would, before you go to sleep, I would, start saying to yourself, I'm safely couched in the soul of my being. Therefore, I am secure and able to explore all the dimensions of my reality. Like if you say that before you go to sleep every single night, then you'll start experiencing your other selves, your alternative selves, and then you'll get comfortable doing that, and then you'll be able to travel.
Mm-hmm. All right, my friend, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, and I don't want to butcher it, but thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate that. Let us know if you have a question that you want us to answer, and I'll pay attention to the chat for that. Oh, he sent in another one. Oh, my goodness. Oh. Okay. This is a good question too. Is there intelligent life under the ocean? I've heard theories that some UFOs may be coming from underwater, like the Abyss. You remember that movie from like the early 90s or the late 80s, something like that?
Yes, the Abyss. I do.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. Is there intelligent life under the ocean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to stop shuffling on it.
Stop.
Let's see. Interesting. I wouldn't say so with these cards, just because we don't get any water cards whatsoever. We do get King of Pentacles, right? And get 2 of Wands. And we get 9 of Wands. So my feeling is there's not, but I wonder if in the future, intelligent life might be put there as to keep things secure by some wealthy guy. Yeah.
Like Elon Musk is going to put aliens in the ocean?
I mean, if they start, hanging out in his backyard, probably.
Thank you, Onya Moby, who told me how to pronounce his name in the chat. What a nice name.
It's a nice name.
Marcus Yu says, Carlin mentioned there might be a third-party presidential dark horse in 2024, something like that. Can we predict on that? So I think, okay, if Dave Smith ends up as the libertarian candidate for president in 2024, which there is a really good chance that he's going to, I really think he would be a spoiler. I do. I think he's extremely charismatic, extremely articulate. He is very good at explaining concepts. He gets people very excited and inspires them about different possibilities. I think he could be. So Joshua, let's look at this. Will there be a third-party presidential dark horse in 2024?
Dark horse meaning?
Meaning I think he would pull enough votes away from the Republicans so the Republicans would lose.
Okay. But he wouldn't be a Democratic candidate. He would be another party?
He would be a libertarian. Yeah, libertarian.
Okay. Will you put the question on one again? Did it say, is he going to run or is he going to win?
Can we predict if there will be like a third party kind of
Oh,
like
I see.
spoiler
I get it. Okay, so it's not about winning. It's about will there be a third party that's running?
that spoils the election, that actually does like well enough so that they steal enough votes from the Republicans so the Republicans lose?
Oh, I see. Okay, tell me when to stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Third party dark horse 2024. Pleasure, death, Page of Pentacles. It's possible. Was there somebody before? Because this is about the past, right? So
I
maybe
mean, you could argue, yeah. I mean, people think that that people voting third party resulted in Trump's win. You could also argue that like there's been like third party spoilers before.
Yeah.
Like Ralph Nader, remember when he like was running and he spoiled it for Al Gore?
The answer is in the past. Was Bernie running as a Democrat?
Yes.
He was. Okay. Well, this is something from the past. So I do think
Like
that it is
Ron Paul.
very possibly. I know the answer has to do with the past. And with the death card, yeah, I think it's very possible. And then with Page of Pentacles, this person has the chops. So I do think that is entirely possible that we'll get a third party dark horse candidate for 2024. Absolutely.
Can we psychic follow-up point of privilege? Can we psychic if Dave Smith will be the Libertarian presidential nominee in 2024?
Dave Smith.
Yes.
Will Dave Smith be the Libertarian presidential nominee in 2024? And just say his name one more time.
Dave Smith.
And so I'm going to stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Will Dave Smith be the Libertarian presidential nominee in 2024? Holy shit.
Yes, he will.
How'd you know this?
I'm very smart.
Apparently. Well, let me show you our cards.
Mm-hmm.
We got the victory card,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then we got King of Pentacles. So it's really about the money. I mean, you need a lot of money to run for president, right? And then you got King of Wands. This is somebody who has a vision. Is he fiery? Is he visionary?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
I think he has a
I think he's
damn
an
good
Aries.
shot.
I think he's an Aries. I'm pretty sure I heard he was an Aries.
King of Wands. Makes sense.
Yeah. Awesome. Can I pull up his picture and you can take a look?
Let's
Hang
do
on.
it.
Let's see. Dave Smith. I'm going to put like Libertarian or something so I actually get a good picture.
You can pick up his picture. I'm going to check his birthday.
Okay, you do. I'm pretty sure we looked at this before and I'm like pretty sure he's an Aries. I'm like almost positive.
Dave Smith.
Let's see.
Libertarian.
Here he is.
Oh, he's a comedian too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
Birthday. He's a smart ass. I like him. Let's see what his birthday is. I'm sure you're right. But
I really could be making that up. I really could be. I don't know where I'm getting.
No, he
that
seems
from.
very Aries. No, I think we did. No, you're right. April 2nd.
Aries.
Well, we don't know. Somebody wished him a happy birthday on April 2nd, so we can deduce that he was born around that time. But yeah, that's King of Wands, and he's got money, and he has a victory, so it looks pretty good for David Smith.
Yay! Yeah. Firestarter said, "Will Ghislaine Maxwell trial bring anything to light about our elite rulers, or will it get swept under the rug as usual? Will they pay a price?"
Yeah, she's been mentioning quite a few people, or the case has, right?
You've been paying more attention to it than I have. I've been paying zero attention.
You know, the Jussie Smollett trial is getting more airtime than this Ghislaine Maxwell thing. It's really interesting.
Well, is it though? Is it? Because they don't.
No, you're right. It's not because they're protecting people.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. They don't want it to have attention. That's why it has no attention.
You're right, Carlin. When you're right, you're right. That's what I always say.
Always.
So will the Ghislaine Maxwell trial bring to light any of our elite leaders that are currently in power? I'm guessing she means, right?
Yes.
Imagine we found out Nancy Pelosi was on that island too.
I don't want to know. I don't want
Wouldn't that be a hoot? Okay, but let's see. I don't think she was, of course, but Um, elite leaders. And tell me when to stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Elite leaders with the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. The Sun, Six of Swords, Knight of Pentacles. I think certain things will be brought to light, but I don't know if it's necessarily somebody who's in power right now. There's definitely like this, transition. I think that this is already being whitewashed.
Really?
Like, there's information that's going on. I think that it's almost like what I get with this card. It's like Six of Swords. So you see how like the rough seas are over here. I feel like I get a whitewashing feeling going on. Like there might be a reason why, there's like, well, I'm guessing with freedom of the press, they must be allowed in the courtroom, right?
Well, I think so, but they don't like broadcast or anything. It's like only audio.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think, there might be something with this guy, earthy guy, but again, I think it might be being whitewashed. It wouldn't be Biden, right? So it's an earthy person, somebody who's earthy. So, I mean, that could be anybody, but not somebody old because he's a knight. So it'd be somebody that's more, I think, I don't know. I would get, knight could be a boyish person that's like even in their 50s, I guess, but certainly not an old, like 76-year-old person.
Okay, cool. Sin wants to know,
Sin.
will new conspiracy come to light this year? Or what new conspiracy will come to light this year? That's a good question.
What new conspiracy?
Aliens, 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 aliens.
Don't do the meter. What new conspiracy? Does he like me? He likes me, doesn't he? I can tell. What new conspiracy will come to light this year?
What new conspiracy will come to light this year?
And tell me when to stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Interesting. Well, with Seven of Wands, this is about like going out on a limb. Seven of Cups has to do with like temptation, right? It's like the morning after the night before. What is it? Yeah, the morning after the night before. And with Five of Wands, so I think it has to do
lots of fighting. What's all the fighting?
Yeah, it's definitely like an upset to the program. I think really it falls along the lines of people being bold and being tempted. So if anything, it reminds me, and creating, problems. If anything, it reminds me of like really like similar to like the Jeffrey Epstein thing, like going out on a limb and being like, oh yeah, I want underage girls. And then being like, tempted for it. And then, the shit hits the fan. So I don't know, more specifically, I can't get anything else that's around that, but it's about valor or really going out on a limb, temptation, and then the cat being let out of the bag.
Yeah. All right. Armani V says, Josh was right last week. A shock following greater NYC restrictions. But Josh also said that quickly there'd be cause for... Did we psychic the freaking COVID hysteria one? Hang on. Shit. I think I missed a super chat. I apologize. I'm pretty sure I missed this. I don't know why this just made me think of this. Did we psychic this?
I don't think so.
I'm sorry. We're going to go back to that other one in a second. George Andre Veloso Nunez says, will the COVID hysteria die down in 2023? I apologize, George. I don't know why that just popped into my head as us missing this, but go ahead.
Let's see. Will the COVID hysteria die down? And tell me to stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
I love how he's given up on 2022.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I love how he just
he's like,
over.
next year's a wash.
Yep.
Oh, Frank, what are people doing?
Are you serious?
It's crazy. But I'll tell you, I think what's happening now is we're panicking about them panicking, and that's perpetuating it. Did I lose you?
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, they're panicking about the. Go ahead. Sorry.
So things will be stabilized. But then we have the tower card.
God damn it! A tower event.
And then we have Page of Pentacles. So, I really do think that it's this endless loop. And what really, we don't realize it, but we are panicking about them panicking. And that's just going to, it's like yelling to the baby to stop crying. That's only going to make the baby cry more. So I think we need to like ignore them when they're doing this. I mean, I guess it's really tough because when your kids are in these schools and these poor kids, can you imagine like having to mask up even like,
no.
It's crazy when they have such little chances of contracting it. It's insane.
It's so
they're missing out on so much. Thank God we had our childhoods when we did. Jeez.
Joshua, the consequences that we are going to experience from this as a society are going to last a generation, if not longer.
Well, what's interesting too is that I think that, the general anxiety, like before there may have been more anxiety. Now all the anxiety for these kids is going to be like this COVID anxiety. So what, like, it's almost like being addicted to worrying and that being passed down from generation to generation. But now that we no longer have to worry about money, and now that we no longer have to worry about, being killed from the tribe, that we leave, now we're going to have to like panic and be addicted to worrying about COVID. It's just so interesting. Because the emotions are the same, right?
Exactly.
So crazy.
All right, Armani V, we're coming back to your question now. I apologize. Joshua, you were right last week. A shock following greater NYC restrictions. But Josh also said that quickly there'd be cause for celebration and freedom. Will Eric Adams roll back all vax mandates?
That's a really good question. His name's what? Eric Adams?
Eric Adams. Or Adam. I don't know.
Will he roll back the COVID restrictions like on his first day in office or when he soon gets into office, right?
Yes. Will he roll back the mandates?
De Blasio's mandates. Okay, and tell me to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Will Eric roll back de Blasio's mandates? Yes, absolutely.
Yay.
The star card. I know. I'm so happy for this. I mean, he has balls doing this. Like what? He has like a week left? Yeah. Oh, he's something else. Abundance and then Ace of Wands. So I think it's very, very good. I think that, he has a nice style. I really think he's been pruned for this job. Although I don't believe he's made a public statement about it. Not just yet. Probably smart.
Probably waiting like an intelligent person would.
Yeah.
Good for him. I hope he does. I agree. Like he has like a very like even keeled energy.
I like him.
Yeah.
His energy is like, I feel like he feels almost like an inspired leader. Do you know what I mean?
Good.
Yeah. Good. Like I feel like he's working with spirit, whether he knows it or not.
I'm sure not. Armani V says, in a few years, will we look at all the COVID restrictions and vax segregation and shame and disdain? Also, thanks, Carlin, for following me on Twitter. I'm Red Bean Filling. Guys, everyone go follow Armani V at Red Bean Filling on Twitter. Joshua, in a few years, will we look back at all the vaccine restrictions and COVID mandates and all this stuff with shame and disgust, as we should?
And tell me to stop shuffling.
Stop.
I don't think so. I mean, you got to remember, we might look back on it.
We will learn nothing.
Well, no, the thing is, I think with Knight of Swords is focused on proving a point, right? So in the history books, what are they going to try to do? But make America this superhero that, fought the good fight. It's going to be a matter of what point do they want to make? And, these history books, who are the history books being written by? But not conservatives who are against mask mandates. Let's face it.
That's true.
And then you get Page of Pentacles. So I think they're going to be looking at it as, we had no choice. With the Valor card, though, there might be some zealots, but I think that the overall idea will be, it'll be the idea that we wound up doing what we needed to do to fight, the bubonic plague. You know what I mean? It'll be similar to that, is my feeling.
All right. Armani V also wants to know, will Britney Spears have an artistic revival and create music that's true to her vision? And will Britney and Lady Gaga have a collaboration?
Okay.
Serious, Joe. This is serious business.
Can you pop it on the screen again?
Will Britney Spears have an artistic revival?
Okay, that's good. That's one. Okay. I can't deal. I don't think I could deal with both of them simultaneously. So let's just.
Will Britney Spears have an artistic revival and create music that's true to her vision? I know how to ask questions.
That's enough energy for now. That's enough energy. Let's just deal with her artistic revival. God help us. Oh, Jesus Christ. Will she have an artistic revival? And will she have an artistic revival? Tell me when to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Okay. I think she's going to be doing something new. She's going to be leaving behind the old stuff. So it's going to be very, very different. Whatever Britney does next, it's going to be a completely new chapter. But it is rather passionate and probably exhibitionistic. So I think that she will be going through something, but I think that it's going to be quite the departure from what you're used to in regard to Britney. Now, let's see what's going on. Like, seriously, Gaga and Britney Spears, who came up with this horrendous idea?
Armani V did.
I mean, maybe he heard it.
He says, I'm gay, it's important.
I mean, there's so much fire there because you've got to remember, Gaga's an Aries and Britney's a Sag. Like, that's a lot of fire.
Well, just psychic it, Joshua.
I know. I'm just trying to deal with the energy of those two together. Like, it's like, it makes.
You like fire. You once told me it keeps you warm.
I do like fire, but, it's also too much of a good thing. So will Britney and Gaga collaborate? And tell me to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Will Britney and Gaga collaborate? God, I hope not. Let's see. The Moon, Victory. I think it's very possible. I will be under all the covers in the world when that happens.
Well, you're really going to love this next question then, because Nat D wants to know, will Katy Perry or Gaga ever sign their soul? Or did Katy Perry or Gaga ever sign their soul?
What do you mean sign their soul?
To the devil.
Who's saying they haven't?
Well, that's what he's asking. Did they ever sign their soul?
Oh, did they? Okay, I see.
Did they? Lady Gaga especially.
Did Katy or Gaga ever sign their soul? And tell me when to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Well, the justice has to do with contracts.
They did.
Page of Wands. I mean, Page of Wands, like, Page of Wands wants candy. Okay, yeah, whatever. I'll do whatever you want. I want my candy. And then with Knight of Cups, yeah, I think that there's an emotional extreme. I think that they did exactly what it took to get them to where they needed to be or wanted to be. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So. All right. Mommy says, no question, just sending love. Thank you, Mommy. And our last question. Hi, Carlin. Hi, Joshua. Actually, it's not even a question. I hope you're having a fantastic night. Loves. Sent the yarn I spun from my sheep's wool. Ooh. Hope you have fun with it. Thank you. I appreciate that. What a wonderful gift. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Joshua, that's all the super chats we have for tonight. We have 4 more minutes. What else do we need to talk about?
Oh my goodness. Oh, there's so many things. Well, there's the okay. Well, the Jussie thing has been sort of that's like Alec Baldwin. Oh, can we talk about this?
Yes.
So can we just think for a second and reflect how happy Donald Trump must be with Alec Baldwin going through this. This must be early Christmas for Trump. He must be like thrilled.
I saw someone say on Twitter that like if SNL really wanted to get their ratings up, they should bring Trump on to parody Alec Baldwin. I was like, that is actually genius. That is actual genius right there.
It would be interesting to see what SNL is parodying because there's so many things. There's so much fodder. I'm wondering
SNL
if they're
sucks now.
They're probably playing it too close. I hope they're covering the Jussie thing. They better.
I don't know. I don't
They
want
need to. They need to do that in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. They have to. It's ridiculous. But what I'm curious about is, did you see the Alec Baldwin interview?
No.
Okay. So he did this interview in which he says that he didn't pull the trigger.
Oh, I did hear about this. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he cries throughout the interview, and essentially there are people that are saying that his lawyers put him up to it, right? That his lawyers put him up to doing this interview. I said, because I know he's an Aries, I don't think that he waited for his lawyers.
Oh, just probably not. Yeah, I agree with you.
I think that he's a control freak. He's an Aries. Like, okay, my house is going to burn down because the civil suits are going to be outrageous, let alone, what could happen, right? In terms of, prosecution, jail, etc. But this lawyer guy said that his lawyers put him up to this interview. And I'm saying that I don't think he's smart enough to have done that. Do you know what I mean? So what I'd like to look at, did Alec Baldwin, did he orchestrate and collude with his lawyers for his defense on the interview? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Let's do it.
Let's see. Do you understand the question? Can you ask it for me?
Did Alec Baldwin orchestrate and collude with his lawyers for this interview?
And tell me to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Empress, Page of Pentacles. Yeah. I think that this was like a group thing. The Empress, right? I think a woman might be behind it. The cool thing is that he's gotten support. With Page of Pentacles, that's about making plans real. This isn't, so I was wrong astrologically speaking. I don't think he just rushed into it and said, I'm going to handle it. And then with King of Cups, I think definitely this is definitely something that a group of people, and I think with Page of Pentacles, definitely somebody practical is brought in on it. So yeah. So the lawyer guy was right, because originally I was like, no, he probably wasn't smart enough to talk to lawyers, but he is, according to our card. And whoever his wife is, she deserves a
medal.
Gold. Yeah, she really does. I think that she's probably stuck through him through thick and thin with this whole thing, most likely.
Well, we have one more question that just came in. Wiquan, will the U.S. be in a civil war with hyper-politicalization with everything like COVID around 2030? Will there be a civil war, Joshua?
Around 2030.
By 2030.
And tell me to stop shuffling.
Stop.
King of Wands. Strength. Judgment. No, I don't think so. Because the Strength card comes up. She's gently prying open the lion's mouth or closing the lion's mouth. So this isn't like, brute force like war. No. There's going to be definitely big changes by 2030, but they seem to be extremely fiery. It'll be interesting. There's 2 Leo cards here. We got King of Wands is an Aries, but he's still fire. Then we got the Leo card. So I think that there's a Leo person that's going to be very much involved as we edge toward 2030. And I think it's going to be, a lot of this fire energy. So it's one person or a group of people, but it's definitely going to be a brand new day for America, but it's not going to be a civil war.
All right. Well, excellent. Guys, that's all the questions we have for tonight. Joshua, any final message for the week?
Yeah, we have we're still talking about that new story that we created when the new moon was in Sagittarius, that solar eclipse that we had on the 4th of December. So it's all about a new story in your life for wherever 12 degrees of Sag falls in your chart. But I would just say if you want a new story in any life area, now's the time to really think about that, and you'll be able to implement it over the next 6 months.
Awesome. Well, guys, we do nothing remotely controversial every Tuesday night at 9:30. If you want to connect with us in the meantime, both Joshua and I are on Locals. Both of our locals are in the description below. Joshua also has a YouTube channel himself. And if you want to connect with Joshua directly to get a private reading, go to psychicsun.com. You can get all sorts of good stuff. We'll be back next week. We'll see you then. Take care. Bye.
Bye.